Hello friends, this is Aarti Karnuke, Assistant Professor in Civil Engineering Department at Tulsiramji Gaikwad Patil College of Engineering and Technology, Nagpur, aggregated with NAC A+ grade. I welcome you all for the first lecture of Pavement Analysis and Design, in which we are going to discuss about flexible and rigid pavement. So these are the contents of our topic. Now the very first question is, what is pavement? So pavement is a structure which carries a vehicular loading and built over a prepared subgrade or foundation. So like any other structure, whenever we need to construct any structure, what we do, we construct a foundation, and above the foundation we prepare the structure. So similarly, pavement is a structure which designed for vehicular loading and again it is built over a prepared subgrade or foundation. So in case of pavement, subgrade is a foundation which are prepared before constructing a road. So as we discussed, a pavement is a one type of hard surface made from durable surface material laid down on an area which is intended to carry vehicular or foot traffic. Its main function is to distribute the applied vehicle loads to the subgrade through different layers. The road pavement should provide sufficient skid resistance, proper riding quality, favorable light reflecting characteristics, and low noise pollution. Its goal to reduce the vehicle transmitted load so that they will not exceed the bearing capacity of subgrade. The road pavement are playing a crucial role in the development of any construction. Now the next is highway pavement. A highway pavement is a structure consisting of superimposed layer of porous material above the natural soil subgrade, whose primary function is to distribute the applied vehicle load to the subgrade. The pavement structure should able to provide a surface of acceptable riding quality, adequate skid resistance, favorable light reflecting characteristics, and low noise pollution. The ultimate aim is to ensure that the transmitting stresses due to wheel load are sufficiently reduced so that they will not exceed bearing capacity of subgrade. Now in airfield pavement, an artificial covered surface for runways, taxiways, aircraft parking areas, ramps, and hangar aprons of airfield used to ensure uninterrupted year-round operation. So as we know, there are two types of pavement. First one is flexible pavement and another one is rigid pavement. An ideal pavement should meet the following requirements. So the requirements of pavement are sufficient thickness to distribute the wheel load stresses to safe value of subgrade soil, then structurally strong to withstand all types of stresses imposed upon it, adequate coefficient of friction to prevent skidding of vehicle, smooth surface to provide comfort to road users even at high speed, produce least noise from moving vehicles, dust-proof surface so that traffic safety is not impaired by reducing visibility, impervious surface so that subgrade soil is well protected, and long design life with low maintenance cost. Now these are the two types of pavement. The pavement can be classified based on the structural performance into two: flexible pavement and rigid pavement. In flexible pavement, wheel loads are transferred by grain to grain contact of aggregate through the granule structure. The flexible pavement having a less flexural strength act like a flexible sheet like bituminous road. In rigid pavement, wheel loads are transferred to subgrade soil by flexural strength of pavement, and pavement acts like a rigid plate, example for cement concrete road. In addition to those, composite pavement are also available. A thin layer of flexible pavement over a rigid pavement is an ideal pavement with most desirable character. However, such pavement are rarely used in construction because of high cost and complex analysis required. Now the first is flexible pavement. Flexible pavement will transmit the load stresses to the lower layers by grain to grain transfer through the points of contact in granule structure. The wheel load acting on pavement will be distributed to a wider area, and stress decreases with the dip. Taking advantage of these stress distribution characteristics, flexible pavement normally has many layers. Hence, the design of flexible pavement uses the concept of layered system. Based on this, flexible pavement may be constructed in number of layers, and top layer has to be best quality to sustain maximum compressive stresses in the addition to wear and tear. The lower layer will experience lesser magnitude of stress and low quality material can be used. Flexible pavement are constructed using bituminous material. This can be either the form of surface treatment such as bituminous surface treatment generally found on low volume roads or asphalt concrete surface courses generally used on high volume road such as national highway. Flexible pavement layers reflect the deformation of the layer on the surface layer. If there is any undemulation in subgrade, then it will transfer to the surface layer. In case of flexible pavement, the design is based on overall performance of flexible pavement, and the stresses produced should be kept well below the allowable stresses of each pavement layer. So in flexible pavement, there are three types of flexible pavement: conventional layer flexible pavement, full depth asphalt pavement, and contained rock asphalt mat. So let us discuss these types in brief. Conventional flexible pavement are layer system with high quality expensive material are placed in where the top. Conventional flexible pavement are layer system with high quality expensive material are placed in the top where stresses are high and low quality cheap material are produced in lower layers. Second is full depth asphalt pavement are constructed by placing bituminous layer directly on the soil subgrade. This is more suitable when there is a high traffic and local materials are not available. After that, contained rock asphalt mats are constructed by placing dense open grade aggregated layer in between two asphalt layers. Modified dense graded asphalt concrete is placed above the subgrade will significantly reduce the vertical compressive strain on subgrade and protect from surface water. Then rigid pavement. Rigid pavement have sufficient flexural strength to transmit the wheel load stresses. A typical cross section of the rigid pavement I will show you in a further slide. Compared to flexible pavement, rigid pavement are placed either directly on the prepared subgrade or on a single layer of granular stabilized material, since there is one layer of material between the concrete and subgrade. This layer can be called as base or sub-base course. In rigid pavement, load is distributed by slab action and the pavement behaves like an elastic plate resting on viscous medium. Rigid pavement are constructed by PCCs and should be analyzed by plate theory instead of layer theory. Assuming an elastic plate resting on viscous foundation, plate theory is simplified version of layer theory that assumes the concrete slab as a medium thick plate which is plane before loading and to remain plane after loading. Bending of slab due to wheel load and temperature variation and the resulting tensile flexural stresses. Then rigid pavement can be classified into four types: joint plane concrete pavement, jointed reinforced concrete pavement, continuous reinforced concrete pavement, and pre-stressed concrete pavement. So we have to discuss this four type in very brief. Jointed plain concrete pavement are plain cement concrete pavement constructed with closely spaced contraction joint. Dowels bar or aggregate interlocks are normally used for load transfer across joint. They normally have a joint spacing of 5 to 10 meters. Jointed reinforced concrete pavement, although reinforcement do not improve the structural capacity significantly, they can drastically increase the joint spacing to 10 meter to 30 meter. Dowels bar are required for load transfer. Reinforcement help to keep the slab together even after crack. Then next is continuous reinforced concrete pavement. Complete elimination of joint are achieved by reinforcement. Now these are the layers of flexible pavement and these are the layers of rigid pavement. We will discuss it in our further slides. So first we will discuss difference between flexible and rigid pavement. Difference between flexible and rigid pavement. So in flexible pavement, deformation in subgrade is transferred to the upper layers. In rigid pavement, deformation in subgrade is not transferred to the subsequent layer. Flexible pavement have low flexural strength and rigid pavement have high flexural strength. In flexible pavement, load is transferred by grain to grain contact, and in rigid pavement, no such phenomenon of grain to grain load transfer exists. A flexible pavement have a low lifespan and rigid pavement have high lifespan, but the flexible pavement require high maintenance cost as compared to rigid pavement. Flexible pavement can be used for after traffic within 24 hours, but in rigid pavement road cannot be used until 14 days of curing. In flexible pavement, strength of the road is highly dependent on the strength of the subgrade. In rigid pavement, strength of the road is less dependent on the strength of the subgrade. So, as you can see, bituminous road is a flexible pavement and a concrete road is made up of a rigid pavement is made up of concrete. So these are the layers of flexible pavement and rigid pavement that we will discuss. A multi-layer system that distributed vehicular load over a larger area in flexible pavement. Heavy vehicle consume less fuel on rigid pavement. Rigid pavement more economic when considering environment. Now the next slide is structural action of pavement. So pavement is made up of compacted subgrade, subbase course, base course, prime course, and etc. So we will discuss it in brief. So this is the cross section of rigid pavement. So this is the load transmission in flexible pavement for highway pavement and airport pavement, and this is the load transmission in rigid pavement for highway and airport pavement. So these are the layers of flexible pavement and these are the layers of rigid pavement. So these are the layers in flexible pavement and these are the layers in rigid pavement. So let us discuss it. So first is compacted subgrade. The top soil or a subgrade is a layer of natural soil prepared to receive the stresses from the layers above. It is essential that at no time soil subgrade is overstressed. It should be compacted to desirable density near the optimum moisture content. Next is subbase course. The subbase course is the layer of material beneath the base course and the primary function are provided structural support, improve drainage and reduce the intrusion of fines from subbase course. The subbase course is the layer of material beneath the base course and the primary function are to provide structural support, improve drainage and reduce the intrusion of fines from the subgrade in the pavement structure. If the base course is open graded, then subbase course with more fines can serve as a filler between subgrade and base course. A subbase course is not always needed or used. For example, a pavement constructed for a high quality, then subgrade may not need the additional feature offered by a subbase course. In such situations, subbase course may not be provided. Next is base course. The base course is the layer of material immediately beneath the structure of binder course and it provides additional load distribution and contributes the subsurface drainage. It may be composed of crushed stone, crushed slag and other untreated or stabilized material. Next is prime coat. Prime coat is an application of low viscous cutback bitumen to an absorbent surface like granule base on which binder layer is placed. It provides bonding between two layers. Unlike tack coat, prime coat penetrates into the layer below, plugs the voids and forms a watertight surface. Then binder coat. This layer provides the bulk of asphalt concrete structure. Its chief purpose is to distribute load to the base course. The binder course generally consists of aggregates having less asphalt and doesn't require quality as the surface course. So replacing a part of surface course by binder course results in more economical design. Next is track coat. Track coat is a very light application of asphalt, usually asphalt emulsion diluted with water. It provides proper bonding between two layers of binder course and must be thin, uniformly cover the entire surface and set very fast. After that, surface course is the layer directly in contact with traffic load and generally contains superior quality material. They are usually constructed with dense graded asphalt concrete. The function and requirements of layers are: it provides characteristics such as friction, smoothness, drainage, etc. Also, it will prevent the entrance of excessive quantities of surface water into the underlying base, subbase and subgrade. It must be tough to resist the distortion under traffic and provide a smooth and skid resistant riding surface. It must be waterproof to protect the entire base and subgrade from the weakening effect of water. Seal coat is a thin surface treatment used to waterproof the surface and provide a skid resistance. So, design factor affecting pavement design. There are many factors that affect pavement design, which can be classified into four categories as traffic and loading, structural models, material characterization and environment. So first is loading, traffic and loading. Traffic is the most important factor in pavement design. The key factor included contact pressure, wheel load, axle configuration, moving loads, load and load repetitions. Then contact pressure, the tire pressure is an important factor as it is determines the contact area and the contact pressure between wheel and the pavement surface. Even though the shape of the contact area is elliptical, so for sake of simplicity, it in analyze a circular area is often considered. Then wheel load, the next then wheel load important factor, it is also important factor in the wheel load, which determine the depth of the pavement required to ensure that subgrade soil is not filled. Wheel configuration affect the stress distribution and deflection within a pavement. Many commercial vehicles have dual rear wheels which ensure that the contact pressure is within the limit. Then climate, of course, environment factors affects the performance of pavement material and cause the various damages. Environmental factors that affect the pavement are two types: temperature and precipitation. So we have in temperature, the effect of temperature on asphalt pavement is different from the concrete pavement. Temperature affects the resilient modulus of asphalt layer while it induces curling of concrete slab. And in precipitation, the precipitation from rain and snow affecting the quantity of surface water infiltrating into the subgrade and the depth of the groundwater table. Poor drainage may bring lack of shear strength, pumping, loss of support and etc. So this is all about in today's lecture. Thank you.